The message came on a quiet Tuesday morning. It wasn't delivered by radio waves or any normal communication method that Earth's scientists expected. Instead, it appeared simultaneously on every digital screen across the planet. Admiral James Walker was drinking his morning coffee in the Pentagon when his computer screen flickered. The black text appeared against a white background, simple yet terrifying in its directness. Submit to integration or face extinction. He spilled hot coffee on his uniform, but barely noticed. Within minutes, his phone rang. The president was calling an emergency meeting. In the next few hours, chaos erupted worldwide. The aliens, calling themselves the Dominion, had proven their power by taking control of Earth's entire digital infrastructure for those few minutes. Stock markets crashed. Military bases went into high alert. People rushed to stores, buying supplies for what they feared would be the end of the world. But humanity had learned from countless movies and books about alien invasions. Instead of crumbling in fear, they united. Within 24 hours, the United Defense Council formed, with representatives from every major nation. Admiral Walker, known for his calm thinking under pressure, was chosen to lead it. "They expect us to roll over," he told the assembled leaders in the emergency bunker beneath Geneva. "They think we're primitive because we haven't mastered faster-than-light travel. But they've made 3 big mistakes." The room fell silent as Walker stood at the podium. The old soldier's eyes had a fierce glint as he continued. "First, they showed their hand too early. Second, they gave us a choice. And third," he smiled grimly, "they assumed we'd choose between their options." The council worked through the night. Scientists studied the alien transmission, military leaders assessed Earth's defenses, and diplomats drafted humanity's response. What they discovered gave them hope. The very fact that the Dominion offered a choice meant they weren't all-powerful. Real gods don't negotiate. At exactly 9:00 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time the next day, Earth broadcast its response on all frequencies. "We choose neither. Leave our space or face consequences." The reply came within minutes. The aliens' laughter echoed through communication systems worldwide. Their holographic representative, a tall figure shrouded in shifting colors, appeared in the council chamber. "Primitive species always amuse us," it said, its voice translating directly into each listener's native language. "Your weapons are children's toys compared to our power. Your technology is barely past burning wood for warmth. What consequences could you possibly deliver?" Admiral Walker stepped forward. Years of command had taught him that bullies, whether in the schoolyard or space, only understand one thing. "We survived ice ages with sticks and stones," he said. "We split the atom while still fighting with swords. We reached space while half our people still rode horses. We are humanity. We don't need to match your power." He pointed at the hologram. "We just need to make fighting us cost more than leaving us alone. This is your final warning. Leave our space." The hologram flickered with what might have been amusement. "You have 1 Earth month to reconsider. Choose submission, and most of you will survive as useful servants. Choose extinction, and we will make it slow. We are the Dominion. We have ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years. Your species is nothing." After it vanished, the room erupted in argument. But Walker noticed something crucial. He called for silence and said, "Did you catch it?" Their threat changed. First message, submit or die. Second message, submit or suffer before dying. They're emotional. They can be rattled. And that means they can be beaten. He turned to face the window, looking at the Geneva sky. 1 month. They think they're giving us time to learn fear. His reflection smiled in the glass. Instead, they're giving us time to prepare. Send the word to every lab, every factory, every military base. Tell them what's coming. The council members nodded grimly. They had their orders. Humanity would not submit. Humanity would not die. Humanity would fight. And the Dominion would learn why you should never give humans time to prepare. Captain Lisa Reed hadn't slept in 36 hours, But she couldn't stop now. The holographic display in her lab showed the captured footage of Dominion scout ships, their shields glowing as they passed through Earth's atmosphere. Something about their energy pattern bothered her. "Play it again," she told the computer. "Slow down to 1/10 speed at the atmospheric entry point." The image flickered, and then she saw it. A tiny fluctuation in the shield pattern, barely lasting a microsecond. Her hand shook as she typed calculations into her computer. This could change everything. Meanwhile, across the planet, humanity prepared for war. Underground bunkers grew like massive concrete mushrooms. Orbital defense platforms rose into space, disguised as communication satellites. The world's factories worked around the clock, their normal products replaced by weapons and armor. Commander Tom Miller watched from the lunar base as another cargo ship lifted off from Earth. 20 years of military service had taught him that traditional tactics wouldn't work against an advanced alien force. That's why he proposed something different. "Show me the drone swarm test results," he ordered. The screen lit up with footage of thousands of tiny robots, each no bigger than a coffee cup, moving in perfect coordination. Earth might not have advanced alien technology, but they had something just as valuable: creativity. Back on Earth, Admiral Walker stood in the Global Command Center beneath Mount Cheyenne. Massive screens showed the planet's transformation. Green dots represented completed defense installations, yellow showed works in progress, and red marked vulnerable areas. The map looked much better than it had 2 weeks ago. "Sir," a young officer called out. "Captain Reed requests an emergency meeting. She says it's about the Dominion shields." 5 minutes later, Reed's discovery stunned the command staff. "Their shields operate on a quantum frequency pattern," she explained, pointing to her calculations. "But there's a flaw. For exactly 0.3 seconds during atmospheric entry, they have to adjust their harmonics. During that moment, they're vulnerable to a precisely tuned electromagnetic pulse." Walker leaned forward. "Can we exploit this?" Reed nodded. "Better. We can modify our existing missile systems to generate the right pulse. Their ships will think they're safe right until the moment their shields fail." The news spread through the military command. For the first time, they had a real weapon against the Dominion. But they needed more. Commander Miller's drone program expanded rapidly. The tiny machines learned to work together, forming complex structures in space. They could transform from a scattered cloud into a solid wall in seconds, or create a moving corridor to guide enemy ships into ambush zones. 3 weeks into their preparation month, the first Dominion scout ships appeared. They passed through the outer solar system, their sensors probing Earth's defenses. They saw exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a primitive planet struggling to build basic orbital weapons. What they missed was far more important: hidden bases on Mars and the Moon. Thousands of stealth satellites carrying Reed's shield-breaking missiles. Millions of Miller's drones waiting in the asteroid belt. And most importantly, the determination in every human heart. "Their main fleet is gathering," Walker told the Global Defense Council. "Long-range telescopes show at least 300 ships. They'll be here in 6 days. Are we ready?" asked the Chinese general. Walker looked at the latest reports. Reed's missiles were deployed. Miller's drones were in position. The bunkers were stocked. The orbital defenses were armed. Most importantly, every nation stood united, ready to fight as one. "No," he said with a grim smile. "But neither are they. They expect to find scared primitives begging for mercy. Instead, they'll find humanity standing together, ready for war." He turned to face the council. "Send the word to all commands. Operation Thermopylae is now active. Let's show these aliens why Earth's history books are filled with stories of underdogs winning against impossible odds." The room erupted in determined nods and fierce smiles. The Dominion was coming, but humanity was ready. They had warned them. Now the aliens would learn what happens when you threaten Earth. The Dominion fleet appeared exactly where Earth's scientists predicted, just beyond Mars' orbit. Their ships looked like giant silver arrows, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. 300 warships against one primitive planet. In their minds, it wasn't even going to be a battle. They were wrong. Admiral Walker stood in the Global Command Center, watching the massive holographic display of the solar system. Red dots showed the Dominion fleet. Blue dots represented Earth's forces. Green dots marked Commander Miller's hidden drone swarms. All stations, report ready status, Walker ordered. Orbital platforms ready. Shield breaker missiles armed. Lunar base standing by. Mars defense grid active. Drone swarms in position. The Dominion's message boomed through all communication channels. Your time is up. Prepare for extinction. Walker took a deep breath and pressed the command button. Execute Operation Thermopylae. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The Dominion fleet moved forward confidently, their weapons charging. Their sensors showed only a few primitive defense satellites, exactly what they expected from Earth. Then Commander Miller's drones attacked. Millions of small robots emerged from hiding places in the asteroid belt. They swarmed together, forming massive walls in space. The Dominion fleet's front section slammed into these walls at high speed. 20 ships crumpled before they could even fire a shot. First wave successful, Miller reported from Lunar Base. Beginning Phase 2. The remaining Dominion ships regrouped quickly. Their weapons turned the drone walls into space debris. Their commander's voice came through again, angry now. Your toys cannot save you. That wasn't meant to save us, Walker whispered. That was meant to make you mad. The Dominion fleet charged toward Earth, abandoning their careful formation in their anger. They flew straight into Captain Reed's trap. Shield breaker missiles launching now, Reed announced. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook with excitement. This would prove if her discovery worked. Thousands of missiles shot up from Earth. The Dominion ships didn't even try to dodge. Their shields could handle primitive weapons easily. The missiles exploded, releasing precisely tuned electromagnetic pulses. For a moment, nothing happened. Then ship after ship lost their shields as they entered the atmosphere. Shields down on 60% of enemy vessels. Someone shouted, "They're vulnerable." Walker nodded to his weapons officer. Launch the real missiles. Earth's orbital defense platforms revealed their true power. Hidden behind weak-looking satellite covers were advanced railguns and plasma weapons. Technology humanity had been developing in secret for decades. The unshielded Dominion ships stood no chance. Explosions lit up the sky like new stars being born. Ships that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years fell before weapons they had dismissed as primitive. The remaining Dominion ships tried to retreat, but Miller's drones had moved again, forming a massive net behind them. Caught between Earth's defenses and the drone net, the mighty fleet began to die. This is impossible. The Dominion commander screamed over the communication channels. You are primitives. You cannot defeat us. Walker picked up his microphone. We warned you. We told you to leave our space. Instead, you chose to learn the hard way why humans are dangerous. The battle lasted less than 6 hours. When it ended, 200 Dominion ships were destroyed. The remaining 100 fled through gaps in the drone net, racing back to their empire with news of their defeat. In the command center, celebrations began, but Walker raised his hand for silence. This isn't over, he said. We've won the battle, but now they'll take us seriously. The real war is just beginning. He looked at the damage reports coming in. Earth had lost many satellites and most of the drone swarms, but the planet itself was untouched. More importantly, they had captured several intact Dominion ships. Send in the engineering teams, he ordered. It's time to learn everything we can about their technology. When they come back, and they will come back, we'll be ready for round 2. The sun rose over Earth, its light reflecting off the debris of Dominion ships. Humanity had faced its first interstellar battle and emerged victorious. The galaxy would never be the same. 3 months after Earth's victory, Captain Reed stood in a massive hangar beneath the Rocky Mountains, staring at humanity's first faster-than-light ship. They had built it using technology from the captured Dominion vessels, but with significant improvements. "Run the test again," she ordered. The engineers around her nodded, their fingers flying over control panels. The ship's engines hummed to life, creating a bubble of warped space around the vessel. "Better than the original Dominion design," Reed said, studying the readings. "Their ships waste 30% of their power. Ours only wastes 12%. She smiled. Sometimes fresh eyes see things others miss. Meanwhile, in orbit, Commander Miller watched as workers attached the new quantum shields to Earth's defense platforms. They had reversed-engineered these from Dominion technology too, but like the engines, humanity had improved them. Shield strength at 120% of Dominion standard, his technical officer reported. They never thought to combine their quantum mechanics with our electromagnetic field theory. Miller nodded. "How many ships are ready?" 50 FTL-capable warships, sir. Another 30 will be complete by next week." In the command center, Admiral Walker studied the intelligence reports. The Dominion was in chaos. Their defeat at Earth had shattered their image of invincibility. Several Slade species had already begun rebelling. "Show me the target again," he ordered. The hologram displayed a Dominion outpost near the star humans called Alpha Centauri. It was their closest military base to Earth. "If we take this," Walker explained to the United Defense Council, "we gain their star charts, their communication codes, and their supply routes. More importantly, we show the galaxy that Earth isn't just defending. We're fighting back." The Council approved the mission unanimously. Operation Lightning Strike was born. 2 days later, Earth's first battle fleet gathered in orbit. 50 ships, each carrying improved versions of Dominion technology. Their crews were the best Earth had to offer, trained on simulator programs written by people who had spent their lives playing space combat video games. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Reed said from her position as Fleet Science Officer. The improvements to the Dominion technology were her work, and she intended to see them in action. Walker stood on the bridge of the flagship, named Humanity's Hope. The name had been chosen carefully. They wanted the Dominion to understand exactly who had beaten them. "All ships, prepare for FTL jump," he ordered. "Remember your training. Remember Earth. Remember why we fight." The fleet vanished in 50 flashes of light, leaving Earth behind. 20 minutes later, they appeared near Alpha Centauri, their improved engines letting them travel faster than the Dominion thought possible. The outpost's defenders never stood a chance. Earth's ships struck from multiple directions at once, their improved shields shrugging off enemy fire while their enhanced weapons tore through the outpost's defenses. In the battle's aftermath, Walker recorded a message to be broadcast on all Dominion frequencies. "You came to Earth expecting primitives. You found warriors. You came seeking slaves. You found equals. You came bringing extinction. You found your own defeat." He paused, letting his words sink in. "This is just the beginning. We're coming for every world you've enslaved. We're freeing every species you've conquered. And when we're done, the galaxy will know that humanity doesn't bow to tyrants." The captured outpost computers contained everything they'd hoped for and more. Star charts, communication codes, and most importantly, evidence that the Dominion's empire was built on lies and stolen technology. "Send the data back to Earth," Walker ordered, "and prepare for Phase 2. The real war starts now." As the fleet secured their position, signals came in from nearby systems. Other enslaved species were rising up, inspired by Earth's victory. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was leading the charge. The Dominion had wanted to find primitive humans begging for mercy. Instead, they had awakened a force that would reshape the stars themselves. Commander Miller stood in Earth's first interstellar academy, looking at the strange mix of beings before him. Blue-skinned creatures with 4 arms sat next to tall, slender aliens who seemed to float above their chairs. Creatures that looked like walking crystals shared desks with beings made of shifting clouds. All of them had one thing in common: they had been slaves of the Dominion. Now they were Earth's allies. "Welcome to advanced combat training," Miller said. "Today, you'll learn how humans turned simple mining drones into weapons that helped defeat the Dominion fleet." In orbit, Captain Reed was having a similar experience. Her research lab now included scientists from 12 different species. They gathered around a holographic display showing her latest project, a way to turn Dominion communication networks against them. "The basic principle is simple," she explained to a being that looked like a giant praying mantis. "We use their own signals to carry our shield breaker pulse. Every time they try to send orders, their ships become vulnerable." The mantis-like alien clicked its mandibles in appreciation. "For 10,000 years, we thought the Dominion was unbeatable. We thought their technology was magic. You humans showed us that nothing is unbeatable if you understand how it works." Admiral Walker, meanwhile, was in a meeting that would have seemed impossible 4 months ago. Representatives from 20 former Dominion slave species sat around a table in the United Nations building. They were drafting the charter for a new organization, the Alliance of Free Worlds. "Earth asks for no special power or position," Walker told them. "We want only what we've always wanted, the right of all species to choose their own path." A being made of shimmering light spoke up. "But Earth must lead. You did what none of us dared to do. You stood against the Dominion and won." Walker shook his head. "We won because we worked together. Our scientists, our soldiers, our leaders, everyone played their part. That's what we want to teach you. Not just how to fight, but how to work together." Reports came in hourly of more worlds joining the rebellion. The Dominion's empire was crumbling. Their own technology was being used against them, improved by human innovation, and shared freely with their former slaves. "Another Dominion battle group has surrendered," an aide reported to Walker. "The crew is requesting asylum. They say they're tired of serving lies." The alliance grew stronger each day. Earth's training academies were full of eager students learning everything from combat tactics to engineering. Humans taught them how to fight, how to improve technology, and most importantly, how to think freely. In the academy cafeteria, Miller watched as aliens who had once been mortal enemies shared meals and ideas. "This is the real victory," he told Reed, who had joined him for lunch. "Not defeating the Dominion, but building something better." Reed nodded. "They called us primitive, but we had something they lost long ago: creativity. The ability to look at something and imagine how it could be better." An emergency alert interrupted their conversation. A massive Dominion fleet had been detected heading toward Alliance space, but this time, Earth wasn't alone. Walker's voice came over the global communication system. "All Alliance forces, prepare for battle. The Dominion thinks they can crush our unity with force. Let's show them what happens when free people stand together." Ships from 20 different worlds formed up alongside Earth's fleet. Their crews had trained together, learned together, and now they would fight together. The galaxy watched and waited. The Dominion had ruled through fear for 10,000 years, but they had never faced anything like this: an alliance of free peoples, led by a species that had gone from horse-drawn carriages to starships in less than 2 centuries. Earth had not only broken the chains of slavery, they had forged those chains into bonds of friendship and cooperation. The real question was no longer whether the Alliance would win, but what they would build from the ashes of the Dominion's empire. The Dominion's attack began with 1,000 ships, the largest fleet they had ever assembled. Their warships filled the space around Jupiter, their silver hulls reflecting the distant sunlight. This was their last chance to crush the rebellion that Earth had started. Admiral Walker stood on the bridge of humanity's hope, watching the enemy fleet through the main view screen. Behind him, Captain Reed worked at her science station, while Commander Miller coordinated the Alliance forces from his tactical position. "All Alliance ships report ready," Miller announced. 200 Earth vessels, 800 ships from our allies. Everyone remembers the plan. Walker nodded. The plan was simple, but sometimes simple was best. "Send the message," he ordered. Reed pressed a button, and Walker's voice broadcast to every ship in both fleets. "To Minion forces, this is your final warning. Surrender now or face destruction. We offer you the same choice you once gave us, but we offer it with mercy." The Dominion High Commander's response came quickly. "We ruled this galaxy when your people lived in caves. We will not bow to primitives and traitors." "Wrong answer," Walker said quietly. "All ships, execute Battle Plan Freedom." The Alliance fleet split into 3 groups. The largest group, led by Miller, engaged the Dominion head-on. Their improved shields, based on Reed's modifications, stood strong against enemy fire. The second group, commanded by Reed, moved to flank the enemy. They carried a special surprise, a new weapon that combined human ingenuity with alien technology. As they got into position, Reed gave the order. "Launch the phase disruptors." Thousands of small devices shot out from the Alliance ships. They looked like Miller's old drones, but these carried something new. When they reached the Dominion fleet, they created bubbles of distorted spacetime. Inside these bubbles, Dominion technology simply stopped working. "Phase disruptor successful," Reed reported. 300 enemy ships affected. Their weapons and engines are offline. The third group, led by Walker, made the final move. They jumped through hyperspace, appearing behind the Dominion fleet. The enemy was now surrounded. "Your technology was stolen," Walker broadcast to the Dominion ships. "We found the proof in your outposts. You didn't invent faster-than-light travel. You didn't create quantum shields. You stole it all from the races you enslaved." Panic spread through the Dominion fleet. Some ships tried to surrender. Others fought harder. A few attempted to flee. But the Alliance fleet had trained for this moment, and they worked together perfectly. Miller's drones created walls of energy, trapping enemy ships. Reed's phase disruptors shut down their technology. Walker's forces picked off any ships that tried to escape. It wasn't just a battle. It was a perfect demonstration of how humanity had changed the galaxy. The Dominion High Commander made one last desperate move. His flagship, bigger than any other ship in the battle, charged directly at Earth. "If we die, we take your homeworld with us." He screamed over the communications. But Walker had expected this. "Captain Reed," he said calmly, "show them our last surprise." Reed activated the planetary defense grid. Not the old one the Dominion had seen in their first attack, but something new. A massive energy field appeared around Earth, created by combining human electromagnetic theory with alien quantum technology. The Dominion flagship slammed into the shield at full speed. Instead of breaking through, it bounced off like a rubber ball hitting a wall. The mighty ship tumbled helplessly through space, its engines dead. "All enemy ships disabled or surrendered," Miller reported. "The Dominion fleet is defeated." Walker looked at the battle display. The space around Jupiter was filled with drifting Dominion ships, their once proud silver hulls now dark and powerless. Earth's first prediction had come true. They had made fighting them cost too much. "Send word to the Alliance," Walker ordered. "The path to the Dominion homeworld is open. It's time to end this war once and for all." The stars seemed to shine brighter as the Alliance fleet regrouped. Humanity had not only survived, they had changed the very nature of galactic civilization. And they weren't finished yet. 1 year after the great battle at Jupiter, Admiral Walker stood in the grand hall of the former Dominion Palace. The massive chamber, once a symbol of oppression, now hosted the first meeting of the Galactic Confederation of Free Peoples. Representatives from over 500 species filled the room. Some had been Dominion slaves. Others had hidden from the Empire in deep space. All of them were now equals, thanks to humanity's victory. Captain Reed sat with a group of scientists from 30 different worlds. They were sharing technology freely now, combining their knowledge in ways the Dominion had always forbidden. On her table sat the prize she had discovered in the Dominion's secret archives. Proof that humans weren't as primitive as the Dominion had thought. "They watched us for centuries," she explained to her colleagues. They saw us split the atom, break the sound barrier, reach space, but they didn't understand what they were seeing. They thought technology was about having the best weapons. They never realized it was about having the best ideas. Commander Miller stood with his former students, now leaders of their own fleets. The military academy on Earth had graduated its first class, sending trained officers back to their homeworlds. But they weren't learning just about fighting. They were learning about peace. The best victory, Miller told them, is the one where your enemy becomes your friend. Remember that when you build your new worlds. Walker approached the grand podium, where the Dominion's throne had once stood. The throne was gone now, replaced by a simple speaking platform. It was time for his final speech as military commander. 1 year ago, he began, we ended the Dominion's rule. But destroying something is easy. Building something better, that's the real challenge. He gestured to the gathered representatives. Look around you. Every species here has something unique to offer. The Dominion tried to control these differences. We choose to celebrate them. A holographic display appeared above the hall, showing the new trade routes and defense networks that connected the free worlds. Earth sat at one node of this vast web, not as a ruler, but as an equal partner. We're establishing the Galactic Science Academy, Reeve announced. Every world will share their knowledge. Every discovery will benefit all. The defense fleet will protect trading ships and new colonies, Miller added, not to control, but to preserve freedom. As the meeting proceeded, news arrived from across the galaxy. The last Dominion holdouts had surrendered. The age of empire was truly over. But more importantly, something new was beginning. Walker read the final proclamation. From this day forward, no species shall dominate another. No technology shall be hoarded. No voice shall be silenced. We stand together, or we don't stand at all. The chamber erupted in cheers. Beings who had once been enemies embraced as friends. Scientists shared ideas that would have been punishable by death under the Dominion. Soldiers who had fought each other now planned joint defense strategies. Later, in a quiet moment, Reed found Walker staring out at the alien sunset. Did you ever think, she asked, when we sent that first warning message, that it would end like this? Walker smiled. Honestly, I just wanted them to leave Earth alone. But humans never do anything halfway, do we? The Dominion called us primitive, Miller said, joining them. They thought that meant we were weak. Instead, Reed added, it meant we were still growing, still learning, still dreaming of better things. The three humans watched the strange stars appear in the alien sky. Somewhere out there, Earth continued its own journey, no longer alone in the universe. They had warned the Dominion about threatening humanity. The result had changed the galaxy forever. And somewhere, on 1,000 worlds, new voices were speaking ancient human words. We choose freedom. The story wasn't over. In many ways, it was just beginning. But one thing was certain. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors or slaves, but as teachers, friends, and protectors of liberty.